Hi, I'm Tom Graffeo with Dove Investments, and it's Monday night. It's a little bit on the late side, but I still feel like I need to get this started so I can get some words out to everyone. Um, so yes, the market went down today. It's been going down for the last couple of weeks, and I think it's something I need to address. And I look forward to having a Zoom call with you all very shortly to address this in person. We do that to be communicative, transparent, and as insightful as possible. But in the meantime, let me get some words out to you right now. Um, in the last 6 weeks since President Trump has taken office, he has changed the world. There's no doubt about that. And there's two things that I think have really become evident. It is not business as usual. And I think for the most part, we're all pretty happy about that. Um, Border crossings went down from hundreds of thousands a month to like 400 or 4,000, some ridiculously smaller number with no new legislation. Um, we have money that's being stopped being shipped off to crazy organizations and different types of things, and someone's actually paying attention again, right? So there's a lot of really wonderful things that are happening. But when that happens and the system is changing as much as it is right now, some parts of it get a little scared. Fear is the number one driver in the market sometimes, and I would say that's now also. This is not a fundamentally driven decline. I've seen those many times. There's declines that are driven from fundamentals, which means companies aren't making as much money and things are going poorly for companies. There's times when markets go down, which is the most common, which is based on the Fed and the Federal Reserve and what the actions the Federal Reserve take. Again, that's not this case at all. Like, the Fed is more inclined to lower interest rates than raise interest rates like they did in 2022. So we have a Fed that's looking to lower interest rates. We have a government that's looking to spend less money. And that money that is not coming out of Washington is not going into people's hands and being spent in different things. But it's also hopefully going to result in lower taxes and different things. But we have taken very strong, very proactive actions in the past. Many of you know have either experienced it or heard about it, or and lived through it with us. When COVID came to town, we took proactive actions. When the Fed started raising interest rates, we took proactive actions. I am not motivated at this time, based on what I'm seeing, that we should take proactive actions to stop any sort of further decline. Because when I think about a year out, and I can only go on my best estimates, my 40 years of experience and all the things that I believe in my heart, and rather quickly. There have been many examples where these kind of waves come to the market. We're kind of at the edge of where we really start thinking about things, and we ask ourselves, why is this going down? Is it for bad reasons like COVID, like higher interest rates, like a war, like different things? Or is it for other reasons? And the other reasons today are the government is changing in a direction that generally we look forward to. That there are hope of a war ending. And ultimately, when you really consider the companies that are underlying all of this, the key ones that have been driving our returns for the last several years, all those companies, for the most part, have been having record profits and record years and doing really well, or really close to well, as best as they've ever done. So there aren't fundamental issues with companies saying, "Oh, we are massively missing our targets," or "We're massively not selling things," or "Things are going bad." It all started with the tariffs. And let me just have a word about tariffs and when I think about tariffs. Being an economist now for over 40 years, and having been paid by Wall Street to be an economist and bring these words out, I think I have some basis to talk about this. The government raises money in just a few ways. They can tax businesses, they can tax you and I, and they can tax foreigners. And they tax foreigners through tariffs. Trump did the first tariffs back in 2016, 2017, when he taxed 35% on China. We had also the lowest inflation rate at that time, and inflation ended up being around 2.35%. So China absorbed those tariffs. You can tell by the reaction of the world just how much they are scared of the U.S. putting tariffs or reciprocal tariffs on because they know it's going to slow their economy down a bit, or they'll have to absorb the profit loss. And that's okay because the $37 trillion we owe we have to start paying that back or reducing it in some significant way. And it's either going to be taxing more businesses. If we tax more businesses, there'll be less jobs. If they tax us, you and I, there's going to be less money in our pocket to spend and move things around. Or they tax foreigners that bring so much stuff into the United States and then equalize that playing field. Because remember, every time we buy a product from overseas that is not tariffed, that is not taxed, we are not employing someone here in the United States. And so having employment in the United States is also one of the great ways that we generate taxes for the government. So we miss out on taxes if we don't tariff. So these are some of the core things that I think about. And so I'm not as scared about tariffs. And tariffs can come with a stroke of a pen, and tariffs can be eliminated with the stroke of the pen. This president, our President Trump, is the most business-aware, thoughtful economic leader we've had probably since Reagan, and maybe even Reagan didn't understand economics as well, quite honestly. Not to disrespect President Reagan in any way, a great hero, great fan of his, but Trump understands economics and understands what he's doing. I think we have to give this 6 months to a year. He is turning the aircraft carrier, literally, he's turning the biggest economy in the world literally around and getting it in the right direction. And if I looked at policies and said to myself, man, I am concerned about that. Man, I'm concerned about that. I would be taking very different actions. But our goal is to make money over time. And our goal is to work with you and comfort or allay your fears and work with you and make things better over time. We're happy to do that and communicate with you. But there are not so significant things that I'm so scared about today that I wouldn't want to work right through it. Because I also think as quickly as things have come on in 6 weeks, things can be lifted very quickly as well. I think that this is all about positioning. I think that this is a real downturn. Of course, we feel that downturn. I see it in my accounts. I see it across the firm. I see it across everywhere. But at the same time, we own the best companies in the world. We own some of the best investments. And if there's anything that I felt we needed to get rid of, I would certainly do that. And I'm looking every day at the portfolios. As you have concerns, we're here to talk. We're here to work overtime. We're here to do anything that we can to support you. It is not unrational call, and we will make calls out also. We're beginning that process now to have conversations and make sure that you're okay. We believe in communication and transparency. And so you'll continue to see that from our firm as Tyler and I call. But we love you. We want you to know that we're paying attention. We're very concerned for your well-being, and we want the best for the country in the long term. And I can say that without a doubt in my heart, we are in much better shape today than if we were under any other administration that could have been or would have been under any other presidency at this time. So God bless you. God's in control. We're going to get through this. And in 6 months to a year, I think we're going to all be very much more comfortable about the way things are going. But know that God smiles upon us and that we are in his favor. We care for you deeply. God bless you. And thank you for allowing us to serve you from Dove Investments. Tyler and I, and the whole team, thank you very much. Good evening.